Hello there, YouTube. Devin here again. Gonna apologize in advance. I've got a touch of the old walking pneumonia here, so I'm gonna try not to cough during this video. You also might notice my voice kind of sounds a little bit more gravelly, a little bit lower. I'm very congested right now. But if bear with me on those things. I'm gonna try not to cough or anything on this video. I've been sick the last like 4 or 5 days, pretty violently sick, but I'm feeling better enough to make a video here for you guys. And what we have here for you today is the Swedish M37-65. Now, this is a very, very late production one. This is actually one of the ones that Finland contracted for back before they had their production for the M37 up themselves. They bought some from Sweden. Now, the reason I like this helmet, and it's probably one of my most famous post-World War II helmets, and the reason I consider it a post-World War II helmet is because this shell got a little bit of a different paint to it and everything like that. The rim was finished a little bit better than the during war ones and pre-war ones. And the liner is completely different. But we'll take a look at that here when we get it into the video a little bit more. First off, what we're going to show you is the manual I have for it. I actually have the original manual that it would have come with. Here it is. It's got the triple crowns on it from Sweden. I don't read Swedish, but if you guys do, you'll understand what this says. So here's what the inside looks like. If you want to pause and read that, by all means. It has diagrams, like with most NATO standard helmets. Most NATO countries will have diagrams in case you don't read the native language. You could follow the maintenance and everything like that via diagrams. And then here's the back. Tells you how to tie the crown there. So, yeah. But this helmet is actually probably one of my favorite helmet designs of all time, because it is actually, it's kind of like the French F1. It's actually very, very similar to the French F1, but done earlier. Now, this is a very close-fitting helmet. It's got a very, despite being a raw edge, it's very refined. So you're not going to worry about cutting yourself or anything like that unless there's some paint that's chipped on it. As you can see, the liner is kind of reminiscent of an M1. It's got this cotton herringbone twill fabric just tied at the top of the drawstring. It has an adjustable sweatband. The foam has completely disintegrated on this sweatband, so I'll have to replace that because it's at the point where when you squish it, it doesn't bounce back at all. It just collapses. But this helmet is actually held in place with 4 rivets. The whole liner is kind of reminiscent of an Italian M33 helmet. It's held in place with 4 little plastic arms. The Italian M33 would have had aluminum arms or steel arms, but it's held in place with 4 little plastic arms that are held in place by 2 rivets like this in the front and the back, and then the ones on the sides are just to hold the chin strap lugs in mostly, although there is arms that go down to there. They're not really necessary with the front and the back ones. But as you can see in here, this plastic running all the way around, this halo on the inside is what holds the liner in place, and the whole liner is flexible, as you can see, on these plastic arms, which pulls your head away from the shell for shock absorption, so it gives your head some room to flex, as you can see by the way I'm moving the sweatband, how it gives your head. So that way when you do receive an impact, rather than all of that being transferred into the shell, there's some room to move here. Now, the sweatband is adjustable via this little snap, and then there's some little hooks and stuff like that that you would adjust. You would undo the snap and then undo this little lock right here. I don't know if you can see this kind of silver bar up here right on the edge of the screen, but that's like tension lock. It's just a bent piece of metal. This is size 55 through 59. There's really only 2 sizes on these liners. All the shells are the same size, though, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I haven't seen anything that states otherwise, at least for the 65 patterns. They were all made with the same shells. The earlier ones, though, that have the 3-tongue leather liner, the actual World War II ones, I think were multiple size shells. It has this kind of the same German, Austrian style chin strap. One has a breakaway, so that way if there's an explosion underneath you or something, or your helmet gets hooked from underneath, rather than yanking your head off with it, this one with the split in it is designed to release this lug with enough pressure to where it won't yank your head with it, where if you're just training, you can use this one up here for just solid. And it's adjusted via the slider buckle built into the clip here, and then to hold the excess, it's just these two little tabs on this slider buckle. So nothing special there. Now this helmet is actually super good for the time it was developed. So 1937 is when this finally came off the board, and it was starting to be issued and stuff like that. The shell anyways. And this shell, as you can see, this profile to it is very, very round. And that's very good to have a very, very round shell, because it allows you to round surfaces like tank armor and stuff like that. You could either go with a really, really aggressive slope, or you could go with round, because unless you hit it dead on, chances are it'll deflect shrapnel, incoming projectiles, dirt and stuff like that. Rather than denting the helmet, this provides a perfectly round shape like this. Provides a lot of structure. So it's a very, very good helmet design in that regard. And when the Finns actually tested it against their M40 Stahlhelms they had, which are in a way thicker steel for one, and they weigh almost twice as much, to get the same protection on their Stahlhelms, they would have to double the thickness of the steel on their Stahlhelms in order to achieve the thickness, the same protection level that this helmet accomplished. So that's why they went to why the Finns, like the Swedes, adopted this as their standard helmet after the 1950s, pretty much. 1950s and 60s, they started doing research into getting a different helmet, and this is eventually what they went for. And the first ones they were contracted to make themselves, and they all came in this kind of green. All the Swedish-made ones are green, whereas the Finnish-made ones would later be this kind of stone gray color you see on here. So it's a very, very good helmet. It's probably one of my favorite post-war designs as far as protection and comfort goes. It's up there with the like F1, like I said, the French F1 helmet and stuff like that. So very, very lightweight, very, very nice design, very, very close fitting to the head, which is something I like. Very, very low profile. It's a really, really good helmet, and it's actually pretty cheap to make. I guess these were way cheaper to make than the average Stahlhelm and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys like this video. You subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I do my best to explain to all you new viewers out there. Instead of just giving you a review and stuff like that, I show you the item front, back, inside, and out. How to use it, the different influences and stuff that it appears to have, and the history behind these items, because a lot of people forget the history behind the items, which is oftentimes what a lot of people are looking for. So hopefully you guys like this video. You subscribe if you like this sort of thing, and I'll do my best to answer your questions as they appear on any of the videos you want to leave them on. We'll go from there. So thank you so much for watching. We're getting up by past 500 subscribers, which is really, really great. Let people know about the channel if they want to learn something. If I mess something up in the comments, by all means, feel free to correct me in the comments if you have any additional information, or if you were issued one of these and you're in the Swedish Army or something like that, and you have experience with one of these, feel free to leave your experience in the comments too. I'd very much like to hear about those. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.